Hey, Allison Verhalen here, and today I am talking to you about anchor content. So what is anchor content? It is a definitive piece of content about a specific topic in your industry. For my own industry, if I want to write about SEO, if I want the definitive content on SEO for blogging, it can be as specific or as broad as you want. SEO is pretty broad. So maybe go something a little more specific like SEO for lawyers or SEO for the finance industry or whatever it is that you know you are the expert on and you can write about it all day. Do that, because I'm going to have you write about it all day. So the reason you need anchor content is because it's incredibly valuable. It helps drive traffic to your website and then helps convert that traffic into leads. So those are the two things you need your website to do. You need traffic and you need that traffic to convert into leads, and anchor content is great for that because it's super valuable. It helps position you as an authority, and because it's huge, you can fit a lot of keywords in there without stuffing it with keywords and alerting Google to any black hat SEO tactics. You can just, it's going to be a huge piece of content, so you can space out your keywords and drive traffic there and then link to it like crazy, which I'm going to get into in a minute. So how to create a great piece of anchor content. First is know your audience. Hopefully you know that already. Hopefully you know who your clients are or who you want your clients to be. So that is the first thing you need to do. You need to know your audience. You need to know their pain points. What are they looking for? What are they searching online? How are they getting to your site? That is going to be your first task, is to figure all that out. And then you need to know the history of the topic. So you need to know your audience and you need to know the topic, because you don't want to just write what's already out there. If everyone else is already writing about SEO, which everyone is, or about blogging or about Instagram or whatever it is, there are plenty of people out there talking about that. You don't want to create more content that's just saying the same stuff. You want something new, something that your audience won't find anywhere else, something only you can provide them. So know the history, know what's already out there. You should thoroughly research this topic. I know you already know all about it, but you need to know what other people are saying about it so that when you present your anchor content, you can say, this is different than everything else that's out there, and here's why. So then the third thing you need to do is research your keywords. Again, this comes with knowing your audience. What are they looking for? What are they searching for? How are they going to find you? You need to know the right keywords. You need to know the short tail and the long tail keywords. I have a whole blog post about that on my blog if you want to look for that. It's incredibly valuable because it's going to be a really long piece of content, and you need to properly use those keywords in order to make the content as valuable as possible and as effective as possible. So then the fourth thing you need to do is actually write it up. Yes, sit down and you write. And I know this sounds obvious, but for a lot of people, this is the hardest part. This is why a lot of my clients come to me, is because they're like, you know what, I have time to write, or I know I should be writing and I just don't want to, and it never happens. So they need someone like me to take care of it for them. So if you're doing it on your own, that's the first thing. The fourth thing you need to do actually is writing, but it is the most important step. You can have all the data, all the numbers, you can know all about your stuff, but if you don't sit down and write the content, it's not going to help you. So it's going to take a long time. So once you're done writing, let it sit. I recommend for at least 24 hours. Just let it sit. You don't touch it. The longer the better. If you can let it go for days or even a week without looking at it, awesome, do that, because that will help you come back with fresh eyes. If you can hire an editor, I also offer editing services. If you want to hire a professional editor, it's super valuable to have just a fresh pair of eyes, someone who's not super close to the content like you are, who can come in and might see where something doesn't make sense or where you're missing a segue, maybe you're jumping around from topic to topic. They can help you with the flow as well as the SEO and making sure it all makes sense, and making sure it makes sense to the layperson, unless you're writing in a super technical industry, in which case you're going to want someone in that world who knows what they're talking about, who knows what you're talking about, and knows your audience really well. So After you've let it sit, you've hired an editor, you've both gone over it until your eyes are crossed, you can't do it anymore, go ahead and publish it. Then the sixth step is to share it with the world. It's going to be a huge piece of content and super valuable, so you want to repurpose that puppy as much as possible. You want infographics, you want to share it on social media, you want to make videos about it, talk about it all over the internet. That will help drive traffic to that anchor content. And the more people who find that anchor content and go, wow, this is super valuable, that will help convert those leads. Another thing that will help convert those leads is the call to action. Never ever forget the call to action. I just talked about this earlier this month. You need a strong call to action in order to actually convert the leads that are showing up on your site. Because if they get there and they get to the end of the content and there's no call to action, they'll be like, thanks, that was super helpful, and then they'll leave and you'll never see them again. So call to action, write it up, share it with the world, and then topic clusters. So this should, in theory, be an evergreen piece of content where it should be relevant in perpetuity, but you never know. Things change, and maybe the stuff that's in there will change, but some aspects around it will change. So if it's staying this, if what you've written about, if those things are all still true, they're not changing, but maybe there's something related to it that is changing that you want to talk about, you can write topic clusters in your blog. You can write a series of blog series and have them all link back to that anchor content. That's why it's called anchor content, is because it should anchor the rest of your content on your website, on social media. It should all lead back to that giant, super valuable piece of content. That's where you want your customers to go, and you want them to end up there, and you want them to see how much you know about this topic and what an expert you are, and then get to the bottom and go, oh, this person is awesome, how can I hire them? And that's where the call to action comes in. So those are my tips on anchor content. If you need any other help, you can reach me at AllisonVerhalen.com. Thanks so much. Have a great week and happy marketing.